The internet changed how we work. AI is changing what work gets done. A bank cut loan processing from days to hours. A student built an AI scheduler, improving on-time delivery from under 70% to over 90%. Most teams know AI matters, but aren't sure where to start. InAI is Indiana's statewide AI adoption effort, built with industry, academia, and community partners, helping you move from understanding to action. Visit inaiready.com.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the afternoon of Tuesday, August 18th, 2026. I'm Alex Braun. A nearly 550-acre site at the Ports of Indiana-Mount Vernon is the recipient of a National Site Readiness designation that officials say will help accelerate economic development. Ports of Indiana CEO Jody Peacock said the Ready Site's silver designation will put an emphasis on speed to market when pitching the site to companies.
When you get into talking to companies, one of the biggest incentives for a project is time. And if you can shorten the time frame from initial site view to operation, you're actually increasing the revenue to the company.
He said the Port Authority is seeking potential development from steel companies. Statewide home sales saw continued growth in July, according to the latest report from the Indiana Association of Realtors. Closed home sales totaled 8,112 last month, marking a 5% year-over-year increase and the third consecutive month surpassing the 8,000 mark. Governor Mike Braun on Monday presented 34 Indiana companies with the Governor's Century or Half Century Business Award. The awards are presented to Hoosier businesses that have remained in operation for a minimum of 100 or 50 consecutive years and have demonstrated a commitment to community service. You can view the list of honorees at InsideIndianaBusiness.com. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Thanks for listening to this IBJ Media podcast. You're probably going to remember this ad. Do you know why? Podcast advertising works. 85% of listeners recalled hearing an ad during a podcast, and 70% of podcast listeners have acted after hearing an ad. So whether you're looking to be heard across the entire IBJ Media podcast network, sponsor one of our shows, or just start with a 30-second ad, IBJ Media can help. Contact advertise at ibj.com to learn more.
Indiana officials directed more than $130 million Tuesday to state and local road programs, replacing revenue lost in June amid Governor Mike Braun's continued suspension of the state's gasoline taxes.
The State Board of Finance approved 3 transfers totaling $130.45 million from the State Highway Fund's existing balance, not directly from Indiana's broader budget surplus. Each transfer replaces June revenue that would normally flow to a different road account through Indiana's gasoline use tax or 36 cents per gallon gasoline excise tax. The largest transfer sent was $89.39 million to the motor vehicle highway account. The board separately directed $26.58 million in excise tax revenue to the Highway, Road, and Street Fund and $14.47 million in use tax revenue to the Local Road and Bridge Matching Fund, which supports matching grants to local governments. After the money moves through the normal distribution process, State Budget Director Chad Ranney told the Indiana Capital Chronicle $72.17 million will return to the State Highway Fund for use by the Indiana Department of Transportation. The remaining roughly $58.3 million is designed for local road funding. Braun first suspended the state's 7% gasoline tax in April as fuel prices surged during the war with Iran. He added the gasoline excise tax to the suspension in May and has continued the tax holiday through subsequent energy emergency declarations. His administration pledged to protect local road budgets from the resulting revenue losses. Another Board of Finance transfer could be considered in September as delayed gas tax distributions continue. Abriana Herron, Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Developers and home builders selected for a Montgomery County housing initiative spearheaded by Thrive West Central could receive $100,000 to $245,000 to cover infrastructure expenses. The community development organization is expanding its Homes for the Future program to Montgomery County. The financial incentive aims to stimulate the production of age-friendly, market-rate homes and will target infill lots and second-story housing. Eligible expenses would include sidewalks, electrical, water, sewer, stormwater water drainage, driveway and road installation, broadband, and updates to Americans with Disabilities Act requirements. Terre Haute Mayor Brandon Sackman says his city is making strides in terms of economic growth, and there is more work to be done. Speaking on Inside Indiana Business Television, the mayor said the city has tripled housing production over the past few years, but it hasn't been enough.
When you look at that national interest rate combined with wage growth, combined with the harsh reality of there's not good opportunities for seniors to downsize and starter homes for young growing families, we're trying to tackle that through a series of programs called the Homes for the Future Initiative. We are seeing some direct positive progress.
He said while they've had success with infill housing and neighborhood development, the city needs to continue to increase the housing supply. Longtime Indianapolis Colts beat writer Mike Chappell is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports and entertainment, and beyond. Available now on the IBJ Media app or your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Braun for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.